Hey, what's up? This is Chosen. It is Fusion Eve. We are getting the Fusion live in game tomorrow when we will finally be able to see the full calendar and all of that. But we've got some funny stuff to cover in this one. We've got the offer popping up for Plarium that has nothing on it, which is hilarious. I've never seen that before. And then we've got Plarium putting out an announcement about patch 7.40 with a couple changes in there that I want to keep you in the loop on here on the channel, and then talk about the general stuff going on in game as we prepare for the big day tomorrow. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, when I saw this, maybe I'm easily amused, but I was just dying laughing when I saw this because this it's like a meme come true. You've got a Plarium pack and there's literally nothing in it. It's just a donation to Plarium. And I was like, well, that's a new one for the offer calculator. I've never seen one like that. I've been covering Raid since the early days, basically right from the beginning, and I've never seen a pack come through where it glitched like this and had nothing in it. So thankfully they put a purchase limit of 2. So if you're gonna buy a pack with nothing in it, you can only do it twice. But hopefully that was a glitch, and if anybody clicked on that or did it, they actually got the resources in the contender pack. And then Plarium also put out the post today, the announcement on the main Discord server where they're talking about the update 7.40 and some of the things that are going to be coming in this patch. It's kind of like getting slow rolled into the game, but some of the stuff like the quick battle for the Demon Lord and all of that isn't quite live yet. But they did have some things on here, like if you missed the update from yesterday about the Fusion Champion, there's a change. Let me get that pen back out right here. Okay, so there is a change that is going to be right here where the increased value of the shield buffs cannot exceed 10,000 HP. And the reason they are doing this is because some content creators and people within the community found some synergies with rare champions like Corpulent Cadaver, where you could do damage based off of shield and then synergize two things that infinitely snowball off of each other. So you've got the Fusion champion increasing shields, and then you've got the champion doing damage based on shields, and it's scaling up to like the millions and billions of damage. So what Plarium is doing is they're putting a cap on the Fusion champion. I think it's a little bit harsh. I think it should have probably been like 20-25k, but they're going with 10k. And I think I said in my video yesterday, they probably should have went with addressing some of the shield damage mechanics, like the ones that are broken and hitting for billions of damage, instead of affecting the Fusion. But alas, they went ahead with this change, and I still think the Fusion is definitely going to be a valuable addition for lots of accounts out there that you should probably try to go after if it's realistic for you to do so. But then also, we're going to be getting a couple legendaries added to the pool. We've got a legendary Orc and another Void legendary. Now, I haven't even gone over these in a video yet. We're constantly getting so many champions to keep up with. But this Orc one right here, attack one enemy, steal 10% of the turn meter, 25% chance of repeating this skill. Interesting. So see, it's not grant extra turn, it's repeat the skill. So that is going to be definitely a noteworthy difference there. Attack one enemy 2 times before attacking, transfer all debuffs from this champion on to the target, and then damage from the first hit increases by 10% for each debuff transferred, and then applies a debuff spread. So what you're going to do is take debuffs that are on this champion and then kind of place them and spread them across the whole team, and then damage from the second hit is going to increase. So it could hit pretty hard if you soak up a lot of debuffs and then place it, spread it, and then the multiplier is decent on that. That could be a pretty crazy damage dealing, altering ability with all of the debuff transfer and all that. And then there's also an AoE before attacking, remove all buffs from all enemies. Yeah, it's like an AoE buff strip is super impactful. And then we're going to get more increased damage for each buff removed and fill the turn meter for each enemy killed to help snowball. And that's why that is going to book to a 4-turn cooldown. A lot of times nowadays you'll see these AoE abilities book to a 3-turn cooldown, but sometimes when they have like extra turn or turn meter suppression or turn meter fill, sometimes they'll make them a 4-turn cooldown instead of a 3 to mitigate for that, so it doesn't become like a 2.5. And then there's a passive here at the start of this champion's turn. Place a 50% increased accuracy buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on them for 1 turn. Then at the end of this champion's turn, place a 30% decreased crit rate debuff and a 25% decreased crit damage on the enemy with the highest crit damage for 1 turn. So passive value is great. It's going to be both buffing and debuffing. So definitely looks fun and interesting. You've got a decent amount of damage, hopefully, if the multipliers are good. You've got stealing of different buffs and debuff spread and AoE buff strip with damage on every turn. So could be a pretty interesting Orc there. That's going to be one that's a little bit complicated, and you definitely want to test it out in game. And then there's a Void Legendary being added to the Wizardmen. Now, this one looks pretty wordy. I get a little bit timid when there's going to be Void Legendaries added to the game because I don't want it to dilute the pool. It's already hard enough to get those Acrisia type champions. If we start adding more and more trash Void Legendaries on the back end, it's going to get even more of a pipe dream to ever get a champion like that. So let's see here. Attack one enemy, fill the champion turn meter by 15%. Also, fill turn meter of all allies except the champion by 10% when the target is under an HP burn. That's quite the qualifier, but it is nice that we do have place HP burn debuff on all enemies for 3 turns and instantly activate any HP burn debuff on the enemies, and then place a shield on all allies for 2 turns equal to the damage inflicted by the HP burn activation, and then the value of the shield cannot exceed. Plarium starting to include those caveats. They're like, nope, no more rares hitting for 1 billion damage. they learned with they're gonna start kind of capping these different things. Revive all dead allies with 50% and 40% turn meter, 50% HP, 40% turn meter, and then grant an extra turn. That is nice. I love extra turn mechanics. Void Legendary here. If it's just a burner with an A1, it's gonna need something else here in the kit for sure. So hopefully the passive is pretty crazy. Fill the turn meter of all allies by 5% for each HP burn debuff placed. Whenever an HP burn debuff is activated, heal all allies by 5% of their max HP. Then also, whenever HP burn debuff is activated on the spiderlings, heal all allies by 1%. So going to be another option for some of those more sustained spider teams. And then whenever an HP burn debuff is removed from an enemy, place a 50% decreased resistance on the enemy for 1 turn. Whenever an ally is killed by an enemy under an HP burn debuff, he's going to fill the champion's turn meter by 20%. That's quite the qualifier. Increase the champion speed by 7 for each HP burn debuff. Okay, so wow. So if you're in a situation like in the spider, you got 10 spiderlings and the spider. So you got like 11 times 7 is 77 extra speed here just from the passive. Could get a little bit crazy. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm hyped up for this Void Lego. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And it's going to be cool in certain situations. I don't know that it's really like hyping me up though about a new addition to the Void roster. Also, there's a few content creators in the raid community that Plarium has leaked some images to that is supposedly like teasing some new content or some new sets or something coming to the game. I'll try to kind of group up all these pictures and then talk about my thoughts on that here later today or tomorrow, but it's probably going to be in relation to a new type of a clan boss that we see over here on the right side. Plarium did talk about in their interview with Scratch, where they had Cirilla there, they talked about how there's going to be some big PvE content launching before the end of the year, and I don't think that the new Ascension of Accessory dungeon would qualify as that. That's just kind of like a new dungeon. I'm thinking more along the lines of something like a new clan boss that functions in a different way. We saw the Demon Lord and the Hydra. They definitely function in very different mechanics and have different rewards. So we'll probably get like a new clan boss, and it'll probably have a champion that you can go after like a Mithrala, and it will probably have some sort of different way that you fight it, because it would be a little bit unfortunate if it's the same kind of structure, because right now we already have the daily and weekly fights we have to do as a clan. We have the daily one with the Demon Lord, and then we have the weekly one with the Hydra. I mean, unless they do like a monthly one, I guess, but I hope it's a little bit different in terms of the rotation and how it works within the clan. Then for some of the tournaments and events going on here as we prep for the Fusion tomorrow, this Ice Golem tournament, you may want to pay attention to it a little bit, because you are going to get days of XP right here and an Ancient Shard if you're able to get to 1750. And this does end today, and we've got the Fusion launching tomorrow. So if you're out of XP banners, or if you're in your last few days like I always am, then go ahead and possibly scoop that up here in the Ice Golem tournament if you can put together a good team from the Demon Spawn, Undead Hordes, Dark Elves, and Night Revenant. Might be worth scooping that up and paying attention to that. Otherwise, under the events tab, make sure you're doing your Fusion warm-up as we kind of wrap that up and get ready heading into the Fusion, which is going to launch tomorrow. And that's when we will see the calendar and everything that we can finally go over and see how hard it's going to be to get Emic. And let's also pop in and take a look. Is there any offers that aren't scamming us? Persona 3, these are mostly normal. Soulstone, 2 normal. Void, 6 for 20. This one's going to be the average Void price. And no 101% bonus mini mix, unfortunately. So really nothing noteworthy in the shop other than the donation offer. So yeah, have a good rest of your Fusion Eve, and it should be a pretty exciting end of the week, heading into the weekend, as we're all kind of sprinting out there to start the Fusion and trying to get all that stuff finished to get our hands on Emic being added to our account. And then I'll see if I can compile some of the stuff going on and what the different teasers mean that are kind of leaking out there within the community. But I appreciate all of you, and I will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.